Riverine premium beef for your unparalleled eating experience is produced from carefully selected prime quality cattle that are raised in the lush, temperate Riverine region of Australia. The cattle that meet the rigorous Riverine standard are grain fed for 100 days and graded under the Meat Standards Australia grading system to ensure the brand delivers on its eating quality promise.
A lot of times in the restaurant and the cooking school, when I'm talking to people about cooking meat, cooking beef, and you say to people you want to slice against the grain or you want to work against the grain, they're very confused at what the grain is and where it's going and what's happening. Now basically, all of your meats are muscles and they contain muscle fibres. Now, this is what we call the grain. I want you to pretend this is the grain or the muscle fibre in your steak. Now this little oyster blade here is a good one to be able to tell, because if you come in close there you can see those grains running long ways through it. Now if you imagine the grain is a piece of string, if we were to slice this way, it leaves us with small pieces of string. If we were to slice it this way with the grain, you're going to have very long pieces of string, and therefore you're not going to get as much eating quality out of your beef. If we were to roast this cut as it is, when it comes to slicing it, our grain's travelling in this direction. What we want to do is slice it this way to slice it against that grain. This here is a cube roll or a Scotch fillet, and it's got a very similar grain fashion running down. Now same, if you were to roast that, we want to slice it in a downward fashion. This here's a rump steak or a whole rump. Now you can see here it's got 3 different core muscle groups and the grain's running all over the place in all of them, so that's quite a difficult one to be able to tell. If I was to roast this, I'd want to slice against the grain this way and then change it and against the grain this way. Now you buy nice beef, you want nice eating quality, so I'm going to trim this one down, cook it off and show you some more. I'll just take the oyster out of this oyster blade and make some flat iron steaks, and I'll grill those off and I'll show you how the grain works once it's cooked. So you can see the grain quite simply running in that long fashion on those. And I'm just going to sear these off like a couple of steaks. So always try to read where the grain's going and shorten it down as much as you can. Okay, so I'm going to take those flat irons off the grill and give them a little bit of a rest. When we're talking about the grain, I was saying before, it runs long ways down this. If I give it a bit of a pull, you can see that grain running this way down the oyster blade. Now we want to slice against the grain, so if I give it some nice slices like that, that's going to be the very best eating quality you can get. And you can see the grain there, it's running this way down and it's been shortened to the maximum it can be. Now if I was to slice with that grain, see I get a much rougher cut, it's a lot more coarse. That's not going to eat as well as if we've sliced against the grain. So something really important to remember, whenever you can, make sure you slice against the grain.